Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to TMP Finance, where you make long and short-term investing simple. Today's Nasdaq moved up 0.3%, a very uneventful day for the Nasdaq, but a very exciting day for other stocks. So let's just take a look at the heat map over here, and we can see it's been pretty mixed aside from Nvidia and AMD. Nvidia and AMD have moved up 4%, and Google has moved up 2.34%. And why do we care about Google so much when Nvidia was obviously the big outlier? Well, because we placed a fantastic trade for Google, and you would have got the alert for that trade yesterday night, and that trade was very simple. We were buying right here, we had our stop loss right at the swing low over here, and after our 3 times leverage, which is standard for our trading over here, we were up 7.02% in one single day. Now that's the exact same as somebody's GIC for one whole year. So we did someone's whole GIC in one day. And you know what, this trade's not even done because we do see a lot more upside. So when we're done there, you're looking at about 24%. So congrats to everyone who did take that trade. And if you are interested in getting real-time trade alerts for all the trades that I take and only the trades I take, come take a look at that link in the description, wap.com/tmpfinance. You'll get all the trades I take, the stop loss, take profit, percentage risk allocation, and also get things like free 101 sessions and hot stock picks every month. So if you are interested in that, come take a look in the link in the description. But aside from that here, let's just take a look at our Nasdaq. And again, up 0.3% today, not a very eventful day, and right now this is a brand new all-time high. This is the highest that the Nasdaq has ever closed at and actually ever been at today. So that's very exciting news here. Now, what do we expect for the Nasdaq in the short and long-term scenario? Let's just get the long-term scenario out the way. We're obviously in a bull trend, and if you are doubting that or you're calling a double top, you need to take your medication, because that is definitely not the case. We are rallying up, and I've been saying that we've been in a bull market ever since April 24th when we broke out of the trend down here, and we've caught a very juicy 19 to 20% to the upside here. So it's definitely a bull trend until it is not a bull trend anymore. And very simply, what are we looking for? Again, all-time highs. Keep pushing for those all-time highs. If you're getting risk off and you're actually trying to short the market, you're waiting for a break of this 20,750 support line. This has kept us in a very strong trend for, or a very strong range for quite a bit in late 2024 and early 2025. It's also a previous all-time high as well. So a lot of strength and a lot of buyers are keeping an eye out there. So if we did break that, not a good sign. But right now, for the short term, where can we expect the Nasdaq to go? Very simple. I'm not going to gatekeep this because I don't gatekeep anything when it comes to my YouTube or anything like that. So very simple. My trade is going to be exactly like this. Tomorrow, if we do receive a break and a strong break of today's previous high, then we are placing a trade going long, stop loss right below today's or in the future reference, yesterday's previous day low. And from there, you're just targeting these upside moves there. Very simple there. So that is what I'll be looking for. And when we do, you'll get that trade for that as well. But very simple, I expect the market to keep pushing. There is a chance as well that if we don't receive a break of the upside there, we can expect the market to come back down and retest this breakout that we had yesterday at 22,100. If we're seeing a lot of buyers at 22,100 when we come back down, then that is definitely a retest, and you can be looking for a move to the upside there. And if we don't hold that level and we do break below, just know that there is a range down below here where we could potentially come back down to 21,600 or 21,700, and from there we can still try to balance, and that would be a retest of this resistance line or support line over here as well. So what you can be doing is just look for that move, and then you can be moving higher as well. But long story short, this is a bull trend. So if you are a swing trader, or you are having either very low risk in your trade, or you don't mind a little bit of downside, then just go ahead and place that trade, because 99% chance that we will be receiving even more all-time highs. And I am expecting our all-time highs to move up to somewhere about 24,000 psychological number, and also our resistances and our supports kind of line up to that area around. So can't be looking for that as a potential take profit. Talk about UNH here, United Healthcare Group. Now, this stock has been extremely volatile, and I don't think I need to give any introduction to why. And we are currently, well, we were at before $628 a share, and we're now less than half. So $300 a share, and even lower, the lowest that we went to is $250 a share. And what I am seeing here for UNH, potential bottom here. This is a very strong move to the upside, and if we just weigh this out, just in a couple days, we're able to move up 17%. So you see a lot of buyers here. There is also a lot of inside trading going on with UNH as well, and the CEO buying his own stock as well. So that should tell you something, that there is a very, very good chance that we can see some upside to the stock here. For the short term for this year, 2025, analysts are looking for about $360 a share. I personally am looking at about $380 or maybe a little bit less, $375 a share, just to fill this gap over here. And once we do, I think that can be a very good take profit. But in the long term, when the news starts to fade, I think that we can be seeing some more upside for UNH, possibly even, making some new all-time highs there. But I think that risk to reward, in terms of risk to reward, this can be a very good trade here. Where you're placing your trade here, you are keeping your stop loss right below this kind of move over here. And we can see that we're kind of forming some kind of consolidation and some kind of support here. I want to call this a bottom, and then our top is looking like 373, 375, and that's a fantastic trade there, 5.2 risk to reward ratio. And again, there is a chance that we don't hold this when we move down lower, but that's exactly why our risk to reward is so good for this trade here as well. Let's take a look at AMD over here. AMD's been moving up like an absolute rocket. I told you to buy twice, and every single time I've told you, we've moved up about, let's see here, about 18% in the first trade. Let's just take a look here. Oh, my apologies. 30% in that trade, and then the trade after that, I told you to buy again, and you were looking at about 23. So 53% on AMD, and AMD is going to continue moving up. Your take profit's looking at about $170 a share. A lot of volume going on in this area, and analysts are expecting $180, so they're probably using you as some kind of liquidity for them to pull their positions up. So 170 is a very safe price and a fantastic risk to reward ratio, sitting at 11.5. Take a look at Apple, and every single day we're not seeing anything really exciting going on with Apple, but what is very exciting to see is that we are starting to tighten up with the Bollinger Bands here. Every day we're getting a little bit tighter, and I think we're just waiting for one candle to move to the upper band here or the lower band here, and from there you can be expecting to see a lot of volatility and a big move to one side there. Again, Apple, they did have a bottom here. I think this could be a market bottom just like the rest of the tech stocks, and I think that we could start to move up. So my upside price target is more likely in my opinion. However, if we do receive a break below, that's really bad for Apple because we've broken out of this downtrend here as well. So mostly we're pointing to the direction of up, but keep an eye out for both, and from there place some trades because again, a lot of market volatility when we reach that. Google, we had this pullback here, and it's not a very serious pullback at all. It's just a lawsuit settlement that was settled with with Google and the EU, and usually lawsuits, when it comes to something like, where it's a fraction of their net worth that they had to pay out, it's just, a little bit of fear in the market in the short term, and then the market goes right back to rebalancing itself and bouncing back like nothing has ever happened. So don't be scared of the news, especially if you're not a technical trader and you're just listening to news. That is the worst because you're going to fall victim to a lot of fear. So if you are one that's not into technical analysis, just being aware that that is really not that big of a deal. And the only time that I am shorting Google or holding in cash is if we break below this rising support line over here. And Google's been very strong still from the bottom. Let's see how much we've moved here. We've moved up about 20%, so I am definitely not afraid of Google or anything that has to do with price action here. Microsoft, let's talk about Microsoft. Microsoft has been moving up like an absolute beast over here, and we will zoom out, and we will also close out of our Bollinger Bands here. Now, what do I expect for Microsoft here? Well, let's just take a look, and we're in this wedge here, and this wedge is a very strong wedge, and that's not to mention also that we've had an extremely impulsive move to the upside when we were recovering out of this trend over here in the market, and we've created a 7% gap here. So that's one reason to be bearish for Microsoft. And not only that, we have this wedge that we've been staying pretty true to, and now we're getting a break to the upside of the wedge. So I think it's only fair, not saying that we're going to see a massive correction by any means. It doesn't even have to be any more than about 5% or even 4%, but I do think that we're going to correct at least to the middle of this range over here, and that's exactly what my trade's looking at. We'll zoom in over here. We'll zoom in a little bit closer, And I will pull up my Bollinger Bands over here as well, and we can see that we close outside of the Bollinger Band. I'm going to delete this here for you. We've closed outside the Bollinger Band, and even though it was a green day, that still can show that we are at a top. We have this doji candle top and a move outside of the Bollinger Band, so I think that we can come back and correct at least to the middle of this range over here, and that's a fantastic trade. Your stop loss is right at the high of day or right below that impulsive bearish engulfing candle. If we zoom in, we can see that on the 15-minute chart there. Let's just zoom out. One of these candles over here, like this bearish engulfing candle, you can have your stop loss right below it or right at the break of the highest form for the candles today, and then your take profits just down below, right in kind of the middle of the range there. And I think that's a very possible trade. So that is a short that I have for Microsoft. Do I expect Microsoft to be in any kind of downtrend? Not really. Honestly, I think they're a very strong stock, and you'll see a lot of upside potential, especially in the following years. But it's just a very quick trade to the downside that you can be looking out for when it comes to Microsoft. But that's going to be a wrap for today. Again, we're currently beating the market by 158.88%, and that's just for NASDAQ trades, not even for our stock trades, but that we are absolutely crushing. So if you are interested in that, come take a look at the link in the description, wap.com/tnpfinance. But that's going to be a wrap for today's video. Thank you very much. Go ahead and place those trades if you haven't, because I'm very, very confident and I am invested in those trades that I talked about. And I will see you in the next video. Peace out, y'all. Later.